on board. Um, just to let anyone know, anyone who's watching from Facebook Live or Twitter Live or YouTube or anything along those lines, come on and join us on Haps. It's happs.tv/at carhunger, spelled CARRHUNGER. So, do a couple of shout outs pre broadcast. Shout out to Knowledge in Lynchburg City, and shout out to Honor Government Bro over in London. Art Lover, hey, how are you? It's the High Award. Thank you so much. Awesome. So, I want to chat tonight a little bit about new beginnings and future and life and stuff like that. And today was my first day at the new job. First day working over at Busy Bee Machine Tools. That's a funny name for the company, but yeah, it's they've got about 10 stores around Canada. There's one in Ottawa. There's one near Toronto. How'd it go? Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah. Um, Luckily, I know a lot about the product lines, a lot about the machines themselves. The biggest challenge for me is just getting to learn what the store actually carries, what's where things are in the store and stuff like that. And little by little, I'm getting the hang of that. Or if the customer comes in and says, "Oh, I saw this on your flyer. Is this on sale? Is it in stock?" I'm like, I don't know. Then go check. So, but yeah, overall pretty good. Good bunch of people. It's a small team. There's only about 6 of us at the whole store. Look at easier every day. Oh yeah, exactly. And I've done the retail thing before, over the years. So retail and service and technical support and stuff like that. So it's all part and parcel of this job. So but yeah, it's pretty good. Um, Looking forward to more of it and the opportunity that once I'm finished what I'm dealing with here in Ottawa, that I can actually be transferred to the location near Toronto and you know, finally sort of settle back in out there and move on with things. Yeah. So Christina's out running some errands tonight back in Toronto, and she is still at the hostel. Yep, yep. I came back in last night because I went to back to Toronto for the weekend so that I could take part in one day of the FanExpo. Um, I came for the Saturday to help out with the production department cosplay panel, and that went off quite well. I mean, very limited numbers at the convention, because they're trying to keep social distancing and stuff like that going. But it was quite good. We had about 30, 35 people in the panel room, all camped out and sitting cross-legged on the floor in little groups. It was kind of like having a bit of like a sit-in or a outdoor concert almost. People camped in the grass, but it was fun. So opposed to the red carpets, you had good guys feedback from the announcer. Oh yeah, like Christina's on Friday. Was it Friday? Yeah, when she was wearing the Monarch wings, the announcer's like, "I want those wings." So and yes, they are available on our store. They are each one is made to order. We don't have stock of them, so usually takes a little bit of lead time for us to put a set of wings together. But yeah, they are available on the store. Um, so on Saturday when we went through there with K9, got a really good. Hope Christina gave her a card. Um, I don't know if Christina had a chance to. I know our friend Jeff was helping her out that day. So happy first day. Thank you, Gina. Um, Yay, the Super Heart Award. My hand's holding the other. Uh, my other hand's holding the phone, so I can only do half of the heart. A little tribute to the old Periscope days. Um, but yeah, so Saturday with K9 and us as the Ramona and the war doctor getting the comment about, oh, K9 stole the show as usual, and that's always what happens with us. It's, quite often it's our props, like whether it's K9 or whether it's Mutt. And back when we were running R2, they were always the star of the show. It wasn't the people. There's a bunch of people in costume. Yeah, whatever. It's about the droids. So yeah, K9 got a really good response. His controller's a little bit on the wonky side because it's an older model, but we managed to get him running around the convention and lots of people posed for pictures with him. So that was a lot of fun. And yeah, the panel went off well, even though it was only 45 minutes that we had. Luckily, we were the last panel of the day, so we were able to sort of just stretch and kind of chit chat with some of the remaining audience members and have a little bit more one-on-one kind of thing until staff came along and said, "Okay, we need to clean this room and close it up." So, but it gave us another extra 15 or 20 minutes to talk to people about specific questions about prop building and stuff like that. So that was a lot of fun. And even though we didn't have Maleficent at the convention, and Christina didn't cosplay as Maleficent this time because just the claustrophobia of being in a mask all day and people all over the place and that sort of thing was was a bit too much. I mean, even I was feeling it, um, as the war doctor, because I got the shirt and the waistcoat and the leather coat on top of that, and the scarf that he always wears. So I was pretty warm, and she was warm as Romana in the fur. So just she envisioned trying to wear those wings and the wig and the horns and everything else, and still have a face mask or a shield or a visor or something like that. It was just gonna be too much. But we brought the wings with us anyway for Saturday, and demonstrated them at the panel, and that was very well received. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. So, all in all, FanExpo went really well. Um, it was definitely a surreal. The first convention that we've been to in nearly 3 years, and not sure if you want to get into it, and not sure if you already did prop guns, but how does something like that happen? Oh, okay. It varies. I mean, we've done so many different, um, phasers and disruptors and energy weapons and blasters and stuff like that over the years for different shows and different productions and some, private commissions and stuff like that. It really varies. I mean, on shows like Stargate, a lot of it was built on top of existing firearms, and usually they were airsoft, really good quality replica airsoft guns, so they didn't have to worry about anything like what just recently happened. And we just don't really want to talk about that right now. We'll let the news do what it's got to do, and we'll let them, investigations happen. But yeah, tragedies can happen, whether it's negligence or forgetfulness or carelessness. Who knows? Yeah, I mean, we had that stunt woman in Vancouver a couple of years ago, actually more than a couple of years ago for Deadpool 2, with the motorcycle accident. She was rehearsing a stunt, and she lost control of the motorcycle and put herself through a plate glass window, and you know that was it. Things happen. There's another special effects guy that was um, uh, that met his end when they were testing out an explosive rig on a car, and a piece of the car basically got launched in his direction. So these things happen, and sometimes no matter how careful we are, they can happen. So, but that's about all we need to really talk about on that subject. Um, yeah, we had a lot of people at the convention asking about things like the wizard staff and the Maleficent staff, because we do a lot of the softer materials, right, to make them more convention friendly, and talking about foam swords and you know um, prop bows using a elastic cord instead of a actual drawing and flexing the bow. So yeah, it was really good talking about all that sort of stuff. And the wings panel that she did on Friday, I wasn't able to make it for that one because I was actually coming back from Ottawa at the time. Went off quite well, and people really enjoyed talking about the wings and learning about how we make them. So I just kind of put water here. I found I spent a lot of time talking today. Talking with customers and showing people, showing products to people. My throat's gotten a little bit dry today. Um, but so far so good. So yeah, and then Sunday, Christina did a little bit of a walk around because I was heading back here. She did a little bit of walk around with our friend Beth, and they did some Star Wars cosplay and posed for a bunch of pictures, and basically went and touched bases with a lot of people that we haven't seen in at least a couple of years, and some of them that we haven't seen since before we moved out to BC. So it's been a long time for a lot of these people. So overall, it was pretty good. Um, so the next thing upcoming is the Remember Me broadcast Is it a big store, Busy Bee? Um, it's a pretty decent size. I wouldn't say it's like a Walmart size or anything like that, but it's they have a section of table saws, a section with milling machines, a section with band saws, a section with metal lathes, another section with wood lathes, and then the sanding equipment and stuff like that. So, um, I'm not sure what kind of store to compare it to, but yeah, it's pretty decent size. And they got a big warehouse in the back half with all the overstock and everything. And there's some pretty large items, when you get into some of the metal turning lathes and milling machines and stuff like that. You have products that weigh a few hundred pounds. So yeah, it's pretty cool actually being there. So yeah, the Remember Me broadcast will be coming up on November 1st, and we've gotten the people who have submitted enough awards. Um, I think we've still got a few people who have names and stories to send us because we really want you guys to be involved in this. We want those people who are on that list submit those names, tell us a little bit about that person, and we'll read it on air. And by all means, we would love to have some people come on and read their stories about their departed loved ones. Um, Anyone that wants to join us, we've got a great musician coming on board that night to play some Spanish music, which would be awesome. And anyone else want to come in and join us and talk or play or show their art, we'd be happy to have guests on the broadcast. Let's make it a big thing. Let's make it something that we can do every year, and remember those who have passed and pay tribute to them. So really looking forward to that. So we've got about 10 or 12 people who can submit names, and the list is on a post from last week, I believe. Definitely want to see those names, and anyone else who wants to come and um, contribute an award during the broadcast. Hey, Captain Kirk, how are you? We'll be doing a draw, and the money raised through the broadcast itself, the Appreciate Award, thank you, Captain Kirk, will be donated to the World Wildlife Fund, the Monarch Relief Fund. So that'll be a good cause, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. We did a similar thing last year. Um, did a live broadcast, and we talked about people who had passed. We had people submitting some names, which was really cool. And yeah, as the tradition goes, if the people who have passed are forgotten about in life, their spirits evaporate. So as long as they're remembered, their spirits remain, their souls remain. So let's keep remembering those people who have passed. I know I've got a few in my life. Christina has a few in her life. Some of them are, you know, collective to both of us. And yeah, with what's happened in the world over the past year and a half or so, I know there's a lot more to see you. FanExpo Shatner. I mean, I didn't see any of the guests. I saw some of the lineups for the guests, but between running canine around the dealer's room and doing our panel, didn't get much of a chance to see anything else. So we kind of went through the dealer's room and a little bit of Artist Alley. Um, it was mostly in the south building. We didn't go into the north building at all to see any of the big panelists or the Q&A sessions. So, but yeah, I heard Shatner was actually quite popular at the con. There's a lot of really good guests too, because George Takei was there, James Marsters from back in the Buffy days. Um, who else? I mean, Adam Savage was there. There's a whole list of people that was actually really cool. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. So Remember Me broadcast on November 1st. Halloween, whether I get the chance to get back down to Toronto or not, there will be some plans for Halloween. Going down to Church Street to um, basically wander around amongst the crowds and crowds of people in the village, as it were, and pose for a lot of pictures and hopefully get a little bit of video in and maybe do a broadcast from down there. So yeah, things are still struck, but looking really good. So do you have to work weekends at the new job? Um, My shifts, we haven't fully settled on my shift schedule, but it looks like my week is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The store is closed on Sundays, so I don't have to worry about that. And then that can vary from week to week depending on what the needs are. So it seems like it's pretty flexible. Um, so yeah, should be pretty good. So it means right now, for the time being, my Wednesdays and Sundays are my off days. So it means Wednesday's a good weekday. I can get a lot of stuff done with businesses and services that are only open during the week, and Sunday's a good day to do a little bit of grocery shopping or a little bit of you know personal stuff, whether it's doing some laundry or doing a little bit of journaling or whatever, and all in that sort of amongst that whole mix, still contributing my portion to the business, to Car Hunger Creative, in terms of things that I can design from this end, administrative stuff, working on the web store, posting on Instagram and TikTok and stuff like that. What's the new job? Sorry, I missed it. That's okay. I assume that's a red eye over there on the other side. Come on over to Haps. I know you've tried it. You tried it before, and it actually worked out. So, um, I am now working at a machine tool company in Ottawa for at least the next 3 or 4 months. We'll see how things go. Just in Ottawa now to try to reset my brain and get rid of a lot of toxic tendencies that I haven't really faced yet. So, but the job's good. It's a machine tool company, so a lot of the stuff being sold there is stuff that I've worked with over the years, as a prop maker. So I'm quite familiar with most of it. And the store manager's like, "There's probably 3 things on the floor here that you know more about than we do." So it'll be good to sort of learn and teach all at the same time, which will be awesome. And then of course, we'll have a lot more going on with Car Hunger Creative. Right now, Christina is looking. Well, we're both looking for an additional person to help out with the company. Someone in the Toronto area. Um, Someone in the Toronto area that can that has some building abilities and is confident enough and willing to follow instructions. It's close to where you're staying. It's about half hour, 40 minutes by transit, so it's not so bad. So yeah, so far so good. So yeah, we need to find a third person, basically somebody that can help her out at that end while I'm here, and do a lot of the building with her. Get to learn the laser cutter, the 3D printer, stuff like that. Even the sewing machines, and then be able to produce a little bit more product. I mean, I'll be able to do some of the design work here and send files um, back to her to either laser cut or 3D print. So that'll it'll be very useful that way. So greetings from soggy Kennewick. Oh, is it raining out there too? Yeah, it's raining all over Ontario as well. I think the whole world is raining today. Um, Everyone I've talked to said, "Oh yeah, rain, 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 rain." Yeah, Ottawa, it's rainy right now. Christina said it was raining in Toronto, and sounds like it's raining on the west coast. I don't know if Jazzy's going to drop in, but he'll be able to tell us whether Vancouver's raining or not. So, but it's good. Rain is cleansing, you know, after a long hot summer and everything, and yeah, it'll be good to cool and replenish a lot of things. So, pardon me. Mm. I had some beans and rice for dinner, and it's kind of having fun with me. I think Vancouver got a weather bomb yesterday. Oh, did they? Oh no, that can't have been fun. Well, it's like a little over a week ago, like 9 days ago. Um, there's a huge storm system that came through southern Ontario. Like it ranged all the way from Toronto all the way through to Ottawa and other areas as well. It was just like massive thunderstorms, and it was considered a cyclone, I think. Oh wow, so heavy winds and heavy rain. That's like in 2006 when the big windstorm came through Vancouver and took out about a quarter of the trees in Stanley Park, and some of those are really really old, big evergreen trees. So it was quite devastating, but yeah, it was just a massive range of storms, thunderstorms coming through Ontario about 8 or 9 days ago, and just torrential downpour to a point where you threw your wipers on full power, full speed, and it still wasn't clearing the rain off the windshield. But a little bit better today. It's more of a light rain, but it's been fairly steady all day. Little breaks here and there. And by the looks of it, it's going to be pretty much raining throughout the week. It might be 1 or 2 days where there's no rain. So we already talked about the Remember Me broadcast, which is coming up on November 1st, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And then our official, actual November story time is going to be the Doctor Who theme. So anybody who has submitted uh, awards or um, um, sponsorships. Sorry about that. My ex released her flying monkeys. Awesome. At least it's not. Shh, don't say the S word. Do not say the S word. Um, so we're gonna do Doctor Who for November, and because the anniversary of the first episode is November 23rd, and that was 1963 that it originally aired, so it's 58 years now. 60th anniversary is coming up in a couple of years. That's an amazing milestone for a TV series. But the so anyone who has submitted $7 worth of awards or sponsorships will be eligible to get written into the story as a character, and we'll eventually have some a character list for people to look at um, within the next week or so that we'll have some time to write the story. And we'll be looking at things like Daleks and Cybermen, and an occasional companion or two, and various other Doctor Who monsters and villains, and you know, things like that. So I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It goes back to our fanish roots, and where we met 34 years ago. And yeah, give me one sec here while I just need to answer a text message. So my video is going to go blank, but you'll still be able to hear me. So I'll try and just keep chatting while I send a message here. Give me one sec. Mm-hmm. Bear with me for 1 minute, folks. And hang on. And there we go. Okay, awesome. So I'm back. So yeah, $7 worth of awards or sponsorships will get you written into the next story time, which will be the last Sunday of November, and we'll be doing a Doctor Who theme. So who else is out there tonight? We've got a few of our regular viewers. If there's anybody watching on any of the other platforms, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or Twitter Live, come on over and join us on Haps. That way you'll get to see everyone else's comments as well. Right now, if you're on a different platform, you're only seeing your own, um, only seeing your own comments. But by all means, come on over and join us. Um, what we're going to do is we're going to be taking turns doing broadcasts now. Me from Ottawa and Christina from Toronto. And so tonight was my turn. We didn't get a chance to do many broadcasts during the weekend of the con. Christina tried once from the con and didn't get a good signal, and then she did a short broadcast that evening. and we didn't get a chance to do one on Saturday or on Sunday. So it's kind of slowed things down a little bit for us for perhaps, but yeah, we're going to do our best to keep up the one broadcast a day because we want you guys to see some content. Um, and once again, we are looking for another builder for Christina to help out and be a co-builder at the Toronto end, um, so that we can start putting more product together and doing it for at staging in and out. Hope your cast is doing well. Doing well. There she is, right there. She's returning Canine back to staging, which is our additional location out in Mississauga. Canine did really well at the con, so everyone loved him. I think we're getting a little bit of um, Wi-Fi was only in the halls and unstable. It was very frustrating. My apologies. I tried. There you go. That's later. Here she goes. Yeah, she just dropped into drop Canine off at the other location, and then she's heading back to get some more work done at the house, what we're now starting to call HQ. And yeah, meanwhile, I am going to continue working on the job, working on my personal growth, and going to be speaking to some of the local maker spaces, and we're trying to find somebody that I can have access to some equipment and computers and stuff like that to do some design work for Christina, well, for the company itself, and basically send her some files that she can either run on the laser or the 3D printer. Um, yeah, and we'll be taking turns on HAPS and spending a little bit of time um, redoing some tutorial. Wi-Fi at the con out of your control. No apologies necessary. Yeah, there you go. I mean, sure, it wasn't the 50 to 100,000 people that were normally that normally go to FanExpo, but still, even at that half capacity or so, it was pretty busy. So that it was pretty good. It was a good con. The one thing about the Metro Toronto Convention Center right now, because of the pandemic and everything, there's a footbridge between the two buildings, between the north and the south building. They have that footbridge closed off at both ends, so you can't actually use it. They want to restrict the amount of traffic flow through in that narrow corridor. So basically, to go from the north building, which had all the big guests and the big Q&As and everything, and the autograph lineups, to go to the south building where all the dealer's room, the artist alley, the programming spaces, you had to go out of the building, check yourself out of the building because they're tagging, tapping passes on the way in and out of the con. And so you tap yourself out of the end, down the street, come back up at the other end, and get tapped in at the south building, and vice versa to go back the other way. So yeah, it was quite a deal. And yeah, just getting Canine um, back and forth around the convention was quite fun as well. If you get my meaning of the word fun, one sec here. I'm I know I'm having a little bit of Wi-Fi or connection problems, and my signal's stuttering a little bit. Hey, more Wi-Fi problems, huh? So I know the hospital has Wi-Fi here, but when there's a dozen or more people all trying to use it at the same time, because it's Here we go. So, I'm noticing every once in a while when it acts up, I'm getting my own voice coming back through the earpiece, which with that half second or so delay, or so it's a little disorienting, but it's all good. Yeah. So all in all, convention went really well. Um, First day at the new job went really well. I'm currently still staying at the hostel. That's going to be changed midweek. I've set up to talk to them and figure out exactly where that's going to go. And in the meantime, I'm still going to be looking for a place. Oh, geez, yeah. I'm still going to be looking for a place of my own in Ottawa for the next few months. So it'll be a short-term rental, room rental, or something along those lines. Find someone that needs a roommate for a little while, and take it from there. And then the goal is sometime after Christmas, once I've got myself straightened out and sorted out and developed a little bit more autonomy, I'll be able to go back and get myself a place near Toronto, like within reach that Christine and I can still be working together and keep the partnership going. Because we have done some amazing things over the years, and we are still more than capable of doing more amazing things, and that's something really to look forward to. So yeah, convention went really well. Um, Remember Me broadcast coming up on November 1st, and the November story time is going to be Doctor Who theme. So that's something to look forward to as well. Sounds like a good plan so far. Yeah, I mean it's a plan that's sort of in progress, and a lot of logistics to work out, and a lot of things to get past. But I'm determined. I'm positive about it. Cautious but positive, and yeah, feeling pretty good about what's got to happen and the what the new us is going to be. Mm. So I'm hoping to get a few more people online here tonight. Thank you to those of you who are here and watching and commenting. I'd love to see some more people on. I see there's 147, 148 views at this point. Um, we did post this earlier on today, like around lunchtime, that it was going to happen. So hopefully people have gotten the notifications. I've noticed that some people have been saying that they don't get the broadcast notifications all the time. So hopefully that's something that the HAPS team can improve upon. Yeah, little by little. I mean, they've been going officially in this official capacity. They haven't even been running for a full year yet, but I think they've done amazing work. In terms of promoting, in terms of the incentives for the broadcasters, and the just the community itself. The um, people looking out for each other, people sharing their ideas and collaborating on broadcasts, and just the art, the creativity, the positive vibes, the music, the spiritualism. All these things are just such an amazing part of what HAPS is becoming, and we're so happy to be part of that. It's we were doing really well on Periscope, and we were loving Periscope, but just the sense of community just wasn't there. It wasn't the same. So this is leaps and bounds better. So, and we appreciate each and every one of you that's joined us. Those of you who have come over from Periscope as well, and yeah, it's it's become an amazing ride, and we know it's going to continue to be an amazing ride. So, um, yeah, I wanted to also go over or talk about the trip back from Toronto to Ottawa last night or yesterday afternoon. Um, as we talked about on a previous broadcast, the Greyhound Bus Company has closed down all operations in Canada, So there's no more Greyhound bus in Canada except for the ones that will cross over the border once all that's finally opened up. But there's in Ontario, there's a couple of smaller bus lines. Um, the one that seems to be the best, most reasonable is called Megabus, and they do like two runs each way per day, and it's about a 5 hour drive. And they do one stopover about halfway along the drive to change drivers and exchange passengers. But yeah, just 5 hours on the bus, numb, but not really being able to close my eyes or nap or anything like that. Pardon me. But yeah, overall it was pretty good, despite the numb butt. I mean, I remember back in um, very beginning, like January of 2001. This was after Christina had moved out to BC to start, prepping and setting things up, and I came out to visit her over Christmas, and I flew out and I took a bus back because it was just the rates were a little bit cheaper that way, and yeah, it was Greyhound because well, Greyhound was running 20 years ago, and 3 days on a bus. Hope you had a good book. Um, I did a little bit of I used the Wi-Fi on the bus and did a little bit of just a little bit of research and a little bit of reading on my phone. But aside from that, yeah, not much. I was actually, ironically, I happened to pick the one seat that had the reading light that would not turn off. I kept pushing the button and trying to wiggle the button and rock it back and forth and tap it and knock it and everything, but the light just wouldn't go off. So even when I did try to close my eyes a couple of times to catch up on a bit of lost sleep, I still had this light shining in my face. So, but now the 3 day bus ride from Vancouver to Toronto back in the beginning of 2001 or 2002, I guess that um, was definitely quite interesting. Doing brushing teeth and changing in the bus station washrooms and like that. And by the end of the 3 days, I just felt like you know such a grimy slug. And the second I got home in Toronto, I immediately hit the shower. Even the cats didn't want to have anything to do with me. Um, so and yeah, that was definitely felt the numb butt after 3 days sitting on the bus seat. I think we actually changed buses part way through the trip, right? Because they want to run the bus the entire journey from Vancouver to Toronto. So about halfway through, um, somewhere in Saskatchewan, I think. It's a long ride, yeah. Somewhere in Saskatchewan, they switched buses, so they moved us and all of our luggage over to a second bus to do the second half of the journey. So, but yeah, 3 days on a bus around the clock too, because they'd switch drivers every 3 or 4 hours, right? So be always a fresh driver. Every major uh, bus terminal, they'd switch drivers. So the bus basically ran around the clock. So that's like 70 hours or something like that. It was almost 70 hours on the bus. They'd stop at a little town and at the bus station, and people could get out, they could stretch, use the washroom, grab something from the vending machines and stuff like that. Next time, maybe download a movie or two. Yeah, well, that's a possibility as well. I was also trying to save my battery power. I didn't there weren't any outlets in the bus to plug into, so I was trying to minimize that. I'm actually, for the most part, I'm actually quite content just sitting there in my own thoughts. Especially right now. Just working things out in my head. So, but it seems to be um, the most productive way anyway to get back and forth from Toronto to Ottawa. Um, Certainly cheaper than the plane, cheaper than flying. Um, and 5 hours isn't really a huge time compared with I mean, a flight. Once you get into an airport, you get yourself checked in, your baggage, and waiting for the flight and everything else, and you know, getting your baggage at the other end, you're probably getting close to the 5 hours anyway, even if it's only a 1 hour flight. So, so yeah. I mean, you see on the bus a lot of people with their laptops out and doing writing and doing, a lot of students traveling, doing school projects and stuff like that on their laptops or their iPads. So it's always something to do. How's my battery doing? 54%. Okay. So, thinking of what other things to talk about, we're going to be getting some more product up on the web store on carhunter.ca. Um, the, uh, the more royal crowns, the king and queen kind of crowns that we've been working on. Christina's got a lot of them put together with the stones and everything in them. We're going to do a little modification and add a section into the back to help close it off better, and it gives us a little bit more space to work with. And then I'm going to be creating a file for her to basically laser cut a lining panel that goes on the inside of the crown. And looking at some of the local maker spaces to see about getting access to computers and machinery there to do some of the design work, and design a few components, design a few things that can go into some of our props. I mean, we're looking at the new battery arrangement that Christina did for the Maleficent staff worked out quite well. Our only problem is there's no on-off switch, so if it you know, gets left sitting for overnight or something like that, the batteries are dead by morning, even if the light in the orb isn't lit. So we have to design something that incorporates a little master power switch or something like that in the battery holder. Make that a little bit more. Basically, take her prototype and um, use it as inspiration for some 3D printed components to create a battery holder. And doing similar things for some of the other props and stuff like that. Trying to steer away now from a lot of the lithium polymer batteries that we've been using. And even their really good power rating and stuff like that. There are a lot of risks with them. Like you guys heard of phones exploding and hoverboards blowing up and laptops and stuff like that. And we don't want that liability. Plus, if those batteries are allowed to run completely dead, they can't be recharged, right? Because they'll just completely the chemistry inside them will break down and they won't hold a charge anymore. So we don't want to have people contacting us a month after they bought something and said, "Oh yeah, I need a new battery because this one died," and to try to end up end up being liable for replacing $20-$30 batteries instead of saying to them, "Oh yeah, just go to your local store and buy a bunch of rechargeable double A's, and if they get drained completely dry, they'll still recharge for years and years." So I mean, we've got double A batteries we've been using since probably the mid 2000s. They're still in really good shape, so it's a lot more economical and safer for the end user. A lot of the stuff that we built for ourselves for cosplay, we're looking at ways of modifying it, improving it, making it a little bit more user friendly, for the long term for the end user. Because things like the Maleficent wings, I couldn't possibly expect somebody to try to completely troubleshoot something if something went wrong if they were to buy exactly that pair of wings, right? So trying to design things in a way that um, it's a lot easier to troubleshoot. There's a lot less chance of things going wrong, things like that, right? So that's going to be a major goal for us over the next, well, pretty much over the winter, really, over the next few months to get a lot of that stuff sort of sorted out and make it more viable to sell them. How much did it cost? Oh, the bus ride. Um, it varies a little bit. The Sunday night bus is about $60, but during the week it's cheaper. It's about $50 each way. So, which is it's maybe a little bit more than the cost of gas to drive there back and forth, but it's pretty reasonable. And when you think about it, actually, it's $50 for one way for the bus, as opposed to probably $80 for a round trip with a car. If she were to drive to Ottawa to come and pick me up and take me back, so it's actually more economical to do it by bus than not having access to a car here in Ottawa. Uh, it's pretty much the best way to do it. So the one thing I am glad about in Ottawa is the transit card is the same one that's used in Toronto, the same system. So my card from Toronto, my transit card, the Presto card, is usable in Ottawa. It's not too bad. Yeah, I was looking at other options and stuff like that, and you can go by train. Oh, hey, Jazzy, there you are. You can go by train, and it's probably about $200. So that's completely out of the question. So, hey, Jazzy, we heard that there was a major storm happened in Vancouver. Would you like to give us a report on that? Because we had Red Eye from Kennewick, Washington, checked in a little while ago and said that it was raining pretty badly there, and I think it was Art Lover mentioned that he'd heard there was. That's great. Yeah, exactly. I heard Art Lover. Oh, it's still supposed to come. Okay. Uh, mentioned that there was a big storm coming through. Yeah, so windy. Hopefully nothing like the windstorm of 2006. We got a chance to walk around Stanley Park after that had happened. About a week or so after they had just started clearing some of the trees, but the amount that had fallen, it's like climbing over branches and tree trunks and you know just fallen branches everywhere, and entire sections of the park were leveled by the wind. The west side of the park facing English Bay was just so susceptible to the wind, and just some of those trees were completely devastated. There's an entire um, how's work? Work's good. First day went quite well. Um, had quite a few customers in the store. It's a couple of large purchases and a bunch of smaller purchases. People coming in for blades and clamps and air fittings and dust collector fittings and stuff like that, and um, other larger machine tools being purchased and stuff like that. So it was good. It was a lot of fun. I had heard a story about another a girl that was working for the last year that came in her first day on the job, and by 10 o'clock, like an hour and a half into the actual store day, she gave up. She hadn't even filled out her start paperwork or anything like that yet. They were going to do that during lunch break, and she just had a breakdown because she was overwhelmed by the number of customers coming in, and just basically, like they put it, ran screaming out of the store. She bailed on them, so that's like, okay, well, that didn't work out very well. So they were glad, but by 5 o'clock, when it was time to close the store, that I hadn't run screaming. I said, no, it's good. I like it. So, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. Got to getting the layout of the store and getting the hang of what's where, and some there's some tools and some parts and machinery there that I'm not familiar with, so I can familiarize myself with them. And there's others that are all too familiar to me, so I'll be able to probably show them a few things as well. As much as they're training me. So, and then back in Toronto, on top of working on the store and the broadcasts and stuff like that, Christine is going to be looking at getting back into some background work. Lots of employees. There's only about 6 of us there in total. FanExpo was good, jazzy. Um, Christina's the Wings and Things panel that she ran on Friday went off really well. People really enjoyed it, and I bussed back to Toronto for the Saturday programming, and got K9 out there and running around the convention, and did the production to cosplay panel with her. And then Sunday yesterday, I bussed back to Ottawa so I could be ready for work this morning. So, but it was really good. Yeah, both panels were well received. The dog got a lot of attention. Our costumes got a lot of attention, and yeah, we got to see a bunch of people we hadn't seen in a long time. Talk to some different groups. Yeah. So you'll see where we posted a couple of videos on our Instagram. You'll see them on our Facebook as well because they trickle over. But the red carpet, what they were doing instead of an actual masquerade is they just did a red carpet so cosplayers could showcase their stuff. So you get in a lineup, you get a little piece of paper and a pencil that you can write a quick description of your cosplay and hand it to the announcer as you walk onto the red carpet, and the announcer will read what's on the card. So she did that in her monarch cosplay on Friday, and got really good you know um, good reactions to that. And we did Ramon and the War Doctor with K9. Did you see the Trailer Park Boys? I noticed them there on their Insta stories. No, didn't see them. Yeah, didn't get to see any of the guests really, because the guests were all in the North Building in the big one off of Front Street, doing their Q&A panels and their autograph lineups and stuff like that. But all the regular programming, the dealer's room and stuff like that was in the South Building. And there's no easy way between the buildings. You have to actually go out on the street and walk down the street and come back in on the other side. And it's a big, line up to check in, line up to check out, et cetera, et cetera. So our programming was in the South Building, the room that we were doing, and the room in the artist alley. Really see anyone. There was one of those Miyazaki forests, and there's speculations that it may have been Adam Savage doing his incognito cosplaying, because he's known for that, right? So he's done one of those forest spirits before. So it may or may not have been him, or it may just have been someone else doing a forest spirit. So, but I heard that his panels were quite well received and well attended. The attendance was down, of course. Social distancing, and everyone had to wear masks, which was certainly interesting. Wearing a mask with cosplay, and but they pulled it off. They did quite well. Um, yeah, I think there were a few spots, a few points in the convention where things were a little more crowded than they should have been. But we did see pretty much everyone wearing masks. Um, we had a few friends, we talked to a few people, and we were sort of in the same boat ourselves, that there were some cosplays that we just weren't about to do because just the cosplay with wearing a mask was going to be too much. So it didn't end up the wings for the panel. Um, and uh, so the man did War Doctor, and she did in the Figs or T's Jedi outfit. So they did a little Star Wars cosplay. And while they were doing that, I was getting myself ready and heading back to Ottawa. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, it did go quite well. A few more viewers going on. Everyone remembered the November 1st is our Remember Me broadcast, uh, based on the tradition and lore of the Mexican Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. Um, and we'll be doing, for those people who contributed um, the $5 worth of awards, every $5 gets one name, gives you eligible for one name. Deadline passed, but I've said they know who you are. Okay, that's better. A little bit of a stall there in the internet. and uh, would love you to be able to come on as well and read your little anecdote about person that. Okay, I think a few more people have logged onto the Wi-Fi here. A great musician who has offered to sign on board and play some Spanish music during the broadcast. And if anyone else wants to join us on the broadcast, either play some music, tell a story about um, you know about some of that they've lost. Any one of our contributors. Anyone wants to come in and share some artwork during our broadcast, by all means, let's get a lot of people on this, and let's make it a big thing that we might be able to that we can repeat every year. So, but definitely looking forward to that. And then Halloween night, one way or another, is going to be spent down on Church Street, um, basically walking around and posing for pictures and hanging out with the thousands of other people who are all going to be down there for Halloween night in costume. And it's still up in the air whether I'm going to be able to make it back for that, but that is the goal at the moment. So we can both be down there on Church Street. Um, the next story time at the end of November, last Sunday of November, will be Doctor Who theme. So anyone who um, contributes $7 worth of awards or sponsorships, and our existing, pre-existing sponsors, will be eligible for um, to be included in the story time, and we'll have a list of characters that you can pick from um, within the next week or two, or at least a week or so after the Remember Me broadcast, because we'll still have to have some time to write the story and actually spend a little bit more time writing it. The other ones have gone off really well, but we've always been kind of in a bit of a crunch to finish writing it last minute. So we're going to do better this time. I know it. So looking forward to that, and yeah, looking forward to a lot of stuff in the future. Getting some more stuff built, doing some more build broadcasts, getting more stuff up on the web store, and stuff like that. So, and yes, as was asked earlier in the broadcast, mentioned, I'm back at the backpackers hostel for the next 3 nights, and then in the process of that, or over the next couple of days, maybe talking to the services and stuff like that to find out where I'll be staying next, and as money starts coming in from the new job, do some budgeting, and look for an actual place to rent. Likely be a room, roommate situation, because there's no way I'm going to be able to afford even a one bedroom or a bachelor, even here in Ottawa. Um, so yeah, but it's going to be good. Be out here for basically over the winter, and which is a lot of everyone's anyone who knows Canada is probably going. You can you spend the winter in Ottawa? Are you crazy? But, it'll be fine. I mean, I don't think Ottawa's really any worse than Toronto weather-wise over the winter, so definitely be interesting. And then the goal is to be able to come back for Christmas, because we haven't really had a Christmas with family um, since we got back, because just one thing after another, and then the pandemic, and all the lockdowns last year. And now we're finally going to be able to go and see family, to run to the store for some ingredients for stew. Hope you sleep well tonight. Bye for now. Goodbye, Art Lover. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining, and thank you for the award earlier. That was awesome. Um, so yeah, uh, to actually be able to have a family Christmas once again after so many years of being away. Um, it's still going to be weird without my parents there, but we've got all the new generations of kids and kids. So uh, it's definitely a whole new family dynamic, and we're looking forward to that. So, um, so we're basically at an hour. I'd like to be on a little bit longer, but definitely love to have a little bit more subject matter for people to talk about, so I don't just keep repeating the same subject over again. At least you can be together before there were restrictions. Exactly, yeah. I mean, this is why we couldn't do Christmas last year. We had to do it virtually, and the year before there was a lot going on that we didn't end up making it to Brantford to my family. Um, so we had um, a little friends Christmas that year, like the in Christmas of 2019. We had a little friends Christmas and had about 3 or 4 people over. And had a little uh, Christmas dinner, which was cool. So yeah, this time be able to do a little bit more, do the New Year's Eve thing, and keep working at getting things back together again and keeping the business running, keeping improving on the business, improving on our products, and yeah, a lot of great things coming up in the future. Um, a lot of good conversations at the convention with the different groups, and to be rejoining some of the groups. We've already been reinstated. Our memberships have been reinstated with CAG Canada. So it's going to be another more cosplay to look forward to, and looking at the some of the Doctor Who groups and stuff like that, because we haven't been part of a Doctor Who group since the late '90s. Um, so that'll be a lot of fun as well. And of course, looking for more creative people to work together with, and get somebody to come in and be an additional maker, additional builder for our Car Hunger Creative. Um, especially while I'm out here and even beyond that, because we've always so they're going to start shooting more in the city now. Um, they have been actually. I mean, they're still following a lot of the regulations and restrictions, and now you have to have your double vaccination passport in order to even work in the industry. A lot of production companies are insisting on that now. So luckily we both have that, so that's good. And I'm going to be focusing more on sort of the regular job. Um, if I if I do well here with Busy Bee Tools, there's a location in the Toronto area that I can be transferred to when I'm ready to go back to Toronto. And then Christina's going to be looking at getting back into doing some background work, and still doing the occasional LSP job. And I may or may not do some of the LSP jobs as well. But you know, big focus is working on the company and getting it to a point where it's actually, holding its own and starting to make some profit. So, I mean, there's a lot of productions in the Toronto area right now. Lock and Key, and what are some of the other ones right now? Chucky, um, Star Trek, Brave New Worlds. You heard about the Alec Baldwin thing? Yeah, yeah. No, it's still not working. No. It felt like some of the buttons were actually responding, but yeah, and then it just yeah, but it's still not responding to things like pressing the guide button doesn't get you the guide for the channels, and it keeps reverting back to the on-demand. Mhm. Yes, I suppose. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah. Mhm. All right. Yeah. Let's see here. Do you hear about? Oh yeah. Um, there's so many factors involved, and we don't really know the whole story yet. So we'll let the news play out and investigations go on. They did check, yeah, they did check the vaccination passports. The con, they gave us all wristbands as confirmation that we were checked at the door. Yeah, Chuck series. Yeah, so Chucky, Lock and Key, Star Trek: Brave New Worlds. Um, well, so I think The Boys is still in production. Not sure about Titans. What other shows are there? I mean, Murdoch Mysteries is still going. Uh, Murdoch is actually it's not an IATSE show like the regular union that we're part of. It's NABET, the other union. So we haven't been able to get any work on it because it's conflict of interest, unfortunately. So, but yeah, there's a whole bunch of productions in town. But she's going to look. She's going to talk to our the background agent that we had um, a couple of years ago and get back into doing some background work because it's really she thrives on that kind of stuff. I mean, it's not full acting work, but there are options and possibilities, and it can lead to some more stuff you know if in the right situation. But it's amongst the production, it's in the production, it's being on camera, it's being amongst a whole bunch of other actors and creative types, and it's just the sort of energy that she thrives on. I mean, I was on that same roster a couple of years ago, and I did um, a couple of days on the set of C, the Jason Momoa series on Apple TV Plus, and it was a lot of fun. That was literally the first and so far only background work that I had done, and it was a lot of fun being dressed up as a grimy homeless blind person, and freezing our butts off because the one production day was out in Hamilton. Yeah, background extras. They're being called background performers now as opposed to extras. But yeah, the one day was filmed out in Hamilton at one of the local steel plants, but it was all outdoor shots. So they had done a bunch of set dressing around some of the older buildings and some of the extra, like the back areas, back lots of this steel plant. And it was cool. That's his new show. Yeah, it was actually this is season two. Season one was being done in Vancouver around the time that we were moving back. I guess they're probably coming up on they're probably like season three or something now. But so it was a lot of fun. I mean, the next about a week later, they did some generating station in Toronto, which is it's been decommissioned. It's not in use anymore. It was an old coal fire power station, and it is a very popular film set. And once again, it was cold because it's not really a heated building. It's a big old concrete structure with broken windows everywhere and big, cavernous interior. And they built a set there. It was like a little derelict village with little market stalls and little shanties and stuff like that here and there. So it was kind of cool, but it was again pretty cold. So yeah, she's definitely looking at getting back into doing some of the background work. Um, because there's a lot of it. When now the productions are opening up a little bit more and using the vaccine passport, stuff like that, they're able to have more background performers on set. They're going to be able to start having slightly bigger crews and stuff like that. So productions are going to start returning a little bit more to normal. We hope it's not going to, all the returning to normal isn't going to result in a fourth wave and have things, have to shut back down again. So far, so good. Numbers have dropped significantly through most of Canada. We're sorry, Saskatchewan. We hear this. You guys aren't doing that well out there, but so far so good for most of Canada. So that's a good sign, and a lot of industry and a lot of commerce is starting to get close to being normal again, which is good. So I mean, yeah, that was even definitely recognized at the convention, and we saw a lot of cosplayers that incorporated the masks into their cosplay, even if the character they had to bring in the military. Yeah, I know. It's just like talk about talk about stubbornness. But yeah, a lot of cosplayers incorporated the masks in their cosplay, um, whether it was a mask that matched the fabric of the cosplay, or whether they did a variation on the character or something like that. Noticed a lot of winter soldiers. You know, already the mask is there. Uh, there were people in. That's cool. Yeah, I mean, there were people in all sorts of costumes. There were a couple of predators. Various other characters that already have masks, so that was pretty good. Our one friend that was there with the 501st manning the booth, she usually cosplays as Governor Price from Star Wars Rebels, and she also does a Twi'lek and a Jawa as well. I think she said she did the Twi'lek on Friday, but she wasn't going to do the Jawa because they did insist that she'd have to have a mask, and being cloaked up inside the Jawa robes and then the facial cover already and a mask inside that, she felt that she was just not going to be able to handle it. And that's kind of similar reason why we didn't do the Maleficent cosplay, because to have the wings on her back, on Christina's back, and um, the wig and the horns and all that extra weight and everything of the costume and the mechanics, and then put on a mask, was just going to be too much. So, but overall, it was pretty good. Convention was a lot of fun. A lot of great people, a lot of great cosplays, like so much cosplay, and it's just so awesome to see. And this is literally it's almost the first chance that these people have had to cosplay in a year and a half. So there was everything. I mean, anime, furries, comic book characters, DC, Marvel. Um, we had several Waldos walking around. We had, um, Miyazaki characters, from like classic Miyazaki animation anime movies. We had other comic book characters. We had um, Disney princesses, found Waldo, several of them, yeah. And there's a female version now because a lot of females have been cosplaying, and I don't know if it's in the books or not, but is it Wanda or something like that? Waldo and Wanda, um, not to be confused with the Scarlet Witch. Although saw a few of those and saw a few visions, so that was pretty awesome to see. A whole bunch of Lokis, no Loki alligator though. Were there a lot of people? There was a few thousand. Yeah, the numbers were definitely down. I think they were trying to limit it to about half capacity of normal. So I mean, FanExpo usually brings in like 50 or 60,000 people. So I think Friday was fairly busy. Saturday was busier. I didn't get to see Friday or Sunday, but Saturday was fairly busy. Um, so I'd say there were easily, when we were there were easily, collectively throughout the con, there were probably about 10,000 people. Which made for a few tight spots, especially around the escalators and stuff like that. But overall, pretty good, and everyone was really good with the masks. The staff was on the ball, making sure people were wearing their masks. They had a designated eating area that you had to show your passport again, or at least show your wristband, um, and you weren't allowed to take your mask off until you were actually seated and eating, which is good. So yeah, overall went quite well. It was a lot of fun, and yeah, the first convention really in over 2 years. And we're looking forward to a lot more of it. They're talking about FanExpo next year already. They're talking about Toronto Comic Con. The Guelph Pirate Festival is looking at definitely going ahead again last year. They missed it this year. They were going to go live, but there were just too many loopholes to go through with the municipal government to have the liability insurance and all the COVID regulations in place to be allowed to rent the park facility that they use. So that's 90% chance that's going to be a lot better situation next August. So I mean, we should be all through this for the most part. They're talking about lifting a lot of the mask regulations and that sort of thing in March. I think March 22nd or something like that. In time for the spring equinox, I guess. And if things go well, if the numbers continue dropping as they have been, then that looks like that's going to be a very sound possibility. So, and it means we'll be able to go to more conventions and eventually be able to, cross the border and go to some of our favorite Renaissance fairs, and there's, conventions in Baltimore that we miss that we've gone to before, and the Maryland Renaissance Festival, the Pennsylvania Renaissance Festival. Yeah. So yeah, definitely things are looking up in terms of being able to go to more actual live public events. Um, More venues are opening up and allowing people in, so that's a good thing too. Yeah. So once again, a reminder that anybody who is watching us on Facebook Live or Instagram or Twitter Live, come on over to HAPS. It's haps.tv slash at carhunger, spelled CARRHUNGER. It's the same profile name we use across all of our social media. So we're on Facebook, we're on TikTok, we're on Instagram, periodically on Twitter, but most of it's a trickle down now from other services, and of course here on apps. So definitely come check us out here. You get to see everyone else's comments, and it also means that you're more eligible to contribute and take part in our Storytime broadcasts, which we've been doing since early in the spring. Um, and they've gone quite well. They've been very very well received. So right now we've got the instead of a story time for October, we're going to be doing Remember Me, which will be taking place on November 1st, which is the Mexican Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. And we'll be doing a broadcast for those people who have recently contributed um, $5 or more worth of awards. We're looking at for every $5 those people have contributed, and you know who you are, you're on the list. Um, you're eligible for every $5 to provide us with the name of somebody in your life who's passed, loved one, family member, friend, pet, teacher, mentor, you know, whomever, and a little anecdote about who that person was, what they meant to you, that sort of thing. And we will read that on air for November 1st. And if you are interested, if you're willing, we'd love to have you actually on camera and read the anecdote yourself and talk about that person. We have a great musician who's going to be joining us for the broadcast and playing some Spanish music for us to go with the Day of the Dead theme. And if anyone else wants to come on and join us, you know, any kind of art, anything along those lines, um, whether it's monarch butterfly related, whether it's Day of the Dead, Sugar Skull, anything along those lines. We'd love to see that on the broadcast. We'd love to get lots of people involved in it. And, it'd be nice to see a little waiting list of people in the lobby just waiting to be brought into the broadcast. Um, so that's gonna definitely be a thing. And if it's something that we can repeat every year, that'd be awesome. And then for November, for anybody, pardon me, anybody up to the date of the Remember Me broadcast, so basically Halloween night or the first, our November story time, we're going to go back to the story time format, will be a Doctor Who theme because we haven't done Doctor Who yet. We have our Doctor Who cosplay. We have K9, and November 23rd is this year is the 58th anniversary of the first airing of Doctor Who. So it's definitely something worthwhile. So once we got the Remember Me broadcast out of the way, we'll put together a list of characters, from that universe that people who've contributed their $7 worth of awards or sponsorships can come and join us and be able to choose a character type for us to write you into our story. And we'll do that on the last Sunday of November. We haven't decided what we're going to do for December yet, so we're still thinking about that. We've still got some cosplays um, in our repertoire that we could probably draw from and use, but we haven't yet decided about December. So it does mean that there are some amazing things coming up in the future, and with a lot more things opening up, we're going to be looking at doing a lot more public events, doing a lot more conventions and stuff like that over the next, you know, even into the next few months and beyond. So hoping that we can see a lot more people face to face. And, as much as we're enjoying the broadcasts and we're enjoying having you guys contributing and commenting and doing the story times and everything, we love being around people, and not having so much of an opportunity to do that over the past year and a half has been really quite frustrating. But we're definitely looking at doing some more cons over the next little while. Toronto Comic Con is considering coming back in. Pardon me. We'll have the Pirate Festival coming up in August, and I know before the pandemic hit, we were starting to do some of the little. There was like a little prop con going on, and there was a string of Ontario little mini Comic Cons. They were basically taking community centers and having vendors in, and maybe getting a guest or two doing signings, like the local comic artists and stuff like that. And we did a few of those around town or around Ontario. And then the pandemic kind of shut a bunch of them down, so we didn't get a chance to go any further with that. So we're looking forward to them starting back up again. So it was a lot of fun. It's a lot more intimate. It's small. You're taking a community center hall and lining it with tables, and you got people coming in cosplay and people selling collectibles and arts and comic books and stuff like that. And it's like a lot of local comic shops and local creators that are in and doing those. So that's a lot of fun. Um, Certainly, a difference from the big, huge Comic Cons and fan expos with the 50 to 100,000 people. And it's like Emerald City Comic Con in Seattle when we were going to that. Um, Before we moved back, they were at probably close to 150,000 people over the weekend, and they were running Thursday through Sunday, so it's 4-day con. And yeah, it was just like the entire downtown Seattle core was full of cosplayers. Like every hotel imaginable, every hotel within a 10-block radius was booked up with people attending the convention. Not to mention every restaurant in the area was packed full of people and lineups, during the convention. It was quite an event. Someday I'd like to be able to get down to um, Seattle, or sorry, San Diego Comic Con, the big original Comic Con, and Dragon Con in Atlanta. There's so many of them, and they've been slowly making plans to restart and go live again. And it's just like that gap in the rain clouds, that little bit of sun pouring through, and yeah. Every day, every week, the gap seems to get a little bit bigger and a little bit more. The light comes shining through, and that's you know, that feels like such a good thing. Yeah. Hey, Newfoundlander, how are you? Great to have you on board the broadcast. So, um, yeah. So talking about events that are opening back up, FanExpo was awesome. Um, the Remember Me broadcast coming up November 1st. By all means, anyone, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to ask. If you want to know how we're doing, we're not going to get into too much crazy detail about stuff, but things are going quite well. We're going to do this. We're going to make this work. Um, Started the first day, or did the first day of my new job, and selling machine tools and machine tool parts and stuff like that, which is pretty awesome. Having worked with a lot of these machines, over my career as a prop builder, I'm quite familiar with a lot of it. It's like, oh yeah, that's a this, and that's a this. Oh, you're looking for this, right? Okay, so just a matter of getting the layout of the store and getting the hang of what actually the store carries. And maybe just be able to say that, so I don't say to a customer, oh, I know exactly what you need for this, except we don't have it. So I'm going to send you the competition. Yeah, not good. New job, awesome. Yep. So it's for a company called Busy Bee Tools, Busy Bee Machine Tools. There's 10 stores around Canada. Pretty much one, well, almost one in every province, really. There's one near Toronto. There's two in Ontario, right? Because there's Toronto and Ottawa. And then there's BC. There's a couple out in the Maritimes. Some out in there's like Winnipeg and Edmonton and stuff like that. Um, Almost pretty much everywhere but Quebec, interestingly enough. I say quietly as I'm just across the river from Gatineau and Hull. But it's good. It's a small team. There's two cashiers and three of us. Actually, I think in total there's four of us on the floor. There's one guy that wasn't there. I say he'd still make a good school bus driver. Yeah, it's unfortunate how things didn't really pan out on that. A lot of it was scheduling. A lot of it was some of the things that I was dealing with, that I didn't end up being able to maintain the training schedule. When they had the training sessions available. So maybe someday. But right now, being able to be in a store, like in a warehouse environment, more or less, on the floor, talking with customers, talking about shop tools and mechanical things and stuff like that. So it's actually pretty good. I don't have to worry about safety checks on a bus and worrying about kids and stuff like that. Not to say I wouldn't have enjoyed being a bus driver and having that sort of split shift, but this is pretty good too, and I'll have a chance to be able to transfer to the Toronto area store once I finish my stay here in Ottawa. So it's funny though, Newfoundlander. You started talking to me about getting a job as a bus driver. I now know two other people in our friendship circle who are now working for First Student. One of them working for First Student Canada in Edmonton. Edmonton? Yeah, somewhere up in near Edmonton. And another working for First Student, I guess it's First Student USA in Seattle. So they're both people who have gone through various career changes and self exploration and self discovery, and both have decided to go and try their hand at bus driving. So they're now officially bus drivers. Our one friend in the Edmonton area just started yesterday with his first bus run. He's gone through all his training. He's got um, his license for that. And the I'm trying to remember if the friend in Seattle has already started driving or if he's still in training. But yeah, he's looking forward to it as well. So I just thought that was kind of funny. It's like, well, suddenly everyone I know is becoming a bus driver. Wow. Maybe not everyone, but it just found it quite interesting that good part-time work. Yeah. Well, it's that split shift that was really appealing to me, right? So having a morning shift and having a few hours off in midday to get, run errands and do materials run or do some, creative stuff at home, and then go back out and do the afternoon run with the bus, and then you know then be able to go back home and get more work done and stuff like that. Um, so I am glad though that I fairly quickly found some work. I mean, when I first got into Ottawa, and even a couple of days beforehand, I just started boom, 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 like just saturating the listings with applications, right? Um, Using the Indeed workforce website, right? Indeed.com or Indeed.ca, and yeah, Busy Bee and Best Buy. Interesting, BB. Uh, Both of them brought me in for interviews, and then the Best Buy said, "Okay, well, we're going through a few more applicants, and we'll let you know in a few days." I was like, "Okay, that's fine." And the next day, I went to my interview at Busy Bee Tools, and um, I had literally um, just left the store. I went to the nearby Tim Hortons to use the Wi-Fi and get myself a tea, and just sort of relax for a moment. And I get a phone call from them saying, "We're we're going to give you the position." And I'd left the interview, and as I was leaving the interview, they said, "Oh, we've got a few more applicants to look at, but we'll let you know in the next day or so." An hour later, they called me, so I took that job, and then later that afternoon, I got an email from the Best Buy saying that they wanted to bring me in for a second interview. And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, I just accepted another Best Buy. It is a big chain. It's a big store too, right? So I would be very specific as to what department, either home entertainment or computers. But this works quite well too. And there's, it's a big enough business. Busy Bee is a big enough business that they do have benefits package and profit sharing and stuff like that too. So, which would be good. It's been a long time since either of us had any health benefits. So to be able to pay for glasses and dental work and medication and stuff like that is a bonus. Commission? There's no commission on this job, but that's fine. We all get a pretty decent salary, and so there's no like rampant competition on the floor, which is good. And we each have our own little specialties. So it's like somebody comes in and goes, "Oh, well, I'm looking for this." I said, "I know exactly who you need to talk to. Come over here." We have one person on the floor who's bilingual. So today I had um, a couple of instances where a customer came in and I said, "Oh yes, anything I can help you find?" And they started speaking to me in French, and I'm like, "Ah, je ne parle pas français." And it's just basically I run and grab our bilingual um, sales associate, say, "Yep, oh, we got a francophone customer that I can't help." So they're looking for another bilingual because they want to get one more person on the floor. She gets kind of overrun with every time she turns around and she goes to sit down and take a break or something, and she wants to go and have her lunch, and suddenly it's like, you know, French service, French service. So it's one of the joys of living so close to the border of Quebec. There's a lot of francophones in Ottawa, and there's it's so easy to just drive across the bridge from Gatineau or from Hull, because there's no location for this store for Busy Bee in Quebec, because there isn't enough translation for the product lines, because a lot of product lines are American made, so there's not really any major French translations. Um, all the literature would have to be sales brochures would have to be translated. My hands free just died, so I gotta just put it off to the side. My phone's also getting a little bit low because where I'm sitting right now, I don't have an outlet close enough. But where am I at? I'm at 34%, an hour and 34 minutes, which isn't so bad. Um, so yeah, overall it's pretty good. And Christina's going to start looking into doing some background work and seeing what else she can find as well. And we keep working away at the company and at the online store, getting more product put together, and yeah, and see how effective I can be from 350 kilometers away, getting some design work done and some administrative and bookkeeping and some of the social media. For the month of October, um, or for the last half of the month of October so far, I've
taken a lot of the responsibility of doing the Instagram, the Halloween month um, postings. How many days do you have to work? Well, it's 5 days a week. So right now, it looks like my schedule is Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and that's flexible too. So if I have time that I need to take off on a particular day or something, or if I need to go back to Toronto for anything in particular, then we can work that out. But yeah, it's basically it's full time employment, 8 hour days. Actually, it's more like probably more like 9 hour days, but because the store is open at 8:30, so we usually arrive at 8, and then the store closes at 5. Um, I'm in Ottawa temporarily, just for the um, basically just for the winter. Sort out a few things in myself and get some work. And Christina is right now. She just checked in about a half hour ago, or a little over a half hour ago. She was dropping. It's working life, yeah, exactly. She was dropping K9 off at our secondary location out in Mississauga, where we have our other laser cutter and some of our materials and stuff like that. And that's where K9's been living because he's just too big a thing to have floating around the house, taking up space in the living room or whatever. And she's heading back to the house, and we'll.
Can you help open the door, please? Huh? Can you help open the door, please? Because I just returned the pen downstairs. So.
And she'll be heading back to the house and going to try and pop back in.
Or should I just leave the door open? Just leave the door a little bit open so it doesn't disturb people. Yeah. And you can leave the key.
So she'll try and pop back into the broadcast if I'm still running when she gets back in the door. Sorry, it's good. Distracted a little bit more by some conversation next to me. So yeah, so far so good. The system has me in the backpackers hostel right now for a few more days, and then they're helping me look for a place, whether it's a room to rent or a roommate situation or something along those lines. Something that can fit into a very tight budget and still be able to contribute to the expenses of running Car Hugger Creative back in Toronto. So, but overall, it's going well. It's a chance for more independence, a chance for a little more autonomy, self-reliance, as opposed to constantly waiting for everyone else to do things for me or to give me all the answers. So that's definitely a step up for me. So yeah, hopefully she'll be getting home pretty soon, or home by now, and we'll be able to pop on and say hi. So just waiting for her little icon to suddenly show up. So you can't do any more walks. You're busy now. No, I'll probably be able to. I mean, I will have to spend a lot of time working on the company, like at least a few nights a week. Um, and day off will be pretty much almost entirely spent working on the company. Um, in one capacity or another. But it doesn't say I won't be able to do walks. We're going to um, try and alternate the broadcasts between her and me. So we'll see how things go with that. So, I mean, the first week in Ottawa last week was mostly me trying to find employment and going to some interviews and trying to do a little bit of research as to what neighborhoods are the cheapest ones to rent in and stuff like that. So, and that's going to become the focus now, especially now that I've have somewhere that I'm working to be able to start looking more in that general direction. Because right now it takes about 45 minutes to get there on transit. And I'd like to be able to get somewhere that's a little bit closer on transit, so it's not as much of a hassle, because it's an hour and a half a day used on just traveling. Whereas if I had access to a car, it's like 15 minutes. All right. So I mean, the Ottawa transit system is actually pretty decent. The buses have pretty good routes, and they're relatively mostly on time, which is good. But their train system, the O train, is actually not running right now. because apparently there's some major design flaws. The city cheaped out on a lot of things. I was talking to one of my coworkers, so she gave me a little bit more of a rundown. So the train is down because I actually the the Presto card from Toronto works here in Ottawa, so that's actually very very handy, and that offers some discounts on fares and stuff like that. So, but the train a few weeks ago had a major problem and had a bit of a derailment, so they've shut the whole train system down. It's only basically one line goes across town, right, from one end to the other, and then so they replaced that with a series of shuttle buses, which take a little bit longer to navigate around the city and the streets and everything to get from station to station, because they leapfrog to the different train stations, right? The O train stations. So a combination between that bus and the bus that catch from one of the stations to the actual to the tool company takes me 45 minutes to almost an hour. Also, reminder, we're doing the Remember Me broadcast on November 1st, and we're going to be doing, for the month of November, the Storytime is going to be Doctor Who theme. That'll be on the last Sunday of the month. Deadline for contributing, $7 worth of awards or sponsorships is the end of this month. So it'll be Halloween night. And then after we've done the Remember Me broadcast, we'll put together a character list from the Doctor Who universe for those contributors to select characters.
Ah, yeah, okay. So when the demo's done, then you build the walls and everything.
So yeah, that's going to be actually pretty cool because we haven't done the Doctor Who thing yet, and that's that goes back to our roots because that's how we met, through a Doctor Who convention, and that was the early part of our fandom, was doing so much stuff in Doctor Who, going to Doctor Who cons, and so and then we started getting into the Star Trek stuff, and then a whole bunch of other things too, right? So, but that's always been in our blood, the whole Doctor Who thing, and this November is the 58th anniversary of the first airing of the series back in 1963. So even though there's a break of about, I think it was about 8 years between the Seventh Doctor and when they finally came up with a new series with the Ninth Doctor. And of course, the Eighth Doctor was the Fox TV movie that was shot out in Vancouver, and stuff like that. So yeah, that's a pretty long running show. It is the longest running science fiction series, and it's been running for British television. It's been running almost as long as Coronation Street. So pretty good run. Yeah, pretty good. Never watched it, but I watched Star Trek. Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, I grew up on both, and so they're very much both a big part of my identity. And of course, Star Wars. Those are pretty much the three major childhood sci-fi genres that appealed to me, back then, and still do. Coronation Street's on all the time. Oh yeah. But it's another one of these long-running shows that has a huge following, and that's why it's still able to function, because it's still got viewers all over the world watching Coronation Street. So yeah. What else is there? Remember Me broadcasts. We've got everyone who submitted for that. We need names from those of you who have done your contributions. Some of you have one name you can submit. A few of you have two, and there's 3 and the 4 name one if you have that many people or are interested in submitting that many people that you would like remembered. And then for everyone else, anyone who contributes during the course of the broadcast, and there's a few contributors over the past month who didn't make the $5, but are able to be. You'll be eligible to be included in the draw during the broadcast, and yeah, all the proceeds from the um, awards and donations are going to go to the World Wildlife Fund uh, Monarch Adoption Program to help raise funds to for awareness of the plight of the monarchs. They're endangered, and mostly endangered because a lot of their habitats are being bulldozed and clear cut for residential for the use of the trees, of the wood, and stuff like that. And it's giving them fewer and fewer places to congregate, to breed, to feed, and stuff like that. So even though the monarch is such an amazing creature, it's in danger right now. You know, but it's what an amazing story though, and what an amazing insect. That this tiny little butterfly, 4 inches, 3-4 inches across, um, every fall travels from Ontario, Quebec, eastern United States in huge masses, gathering numbers as they go, and they spend the winter down in Mexico, and then they breed a couple of generations there, and the last generation in the spring makes the trek back up to the nesting grounds up through the eastern U.S. and Ontario and Quebec again. So it's quite the thing. And of course, there's probably 8 or 10 or maybe more generations of monarchs over the course of a year. The hardier ones are the ones that make the journey, and the less hardy ones, last 3 or 4 weeks at a time, um, are the stationary ones, right? The resident ones. Um, but yeah, I mean, we're seeing so many people are putting out monarch friendly plants, monarch friendly gardens. A lot of milkweed being grown nowadays, which is quite amazing. It's the primary food supply for the monarch caterpillar, and they're one of the few animals that can actually eat milkweed because it is a toxic plant. And as a result, they build up that toxin in their systems, and it makes them toxic to predators. And so that's why the monarchs develop those distinctive coloration, and birds and snakes and other animals that would normally prey on butterflies steer clear of them because they look at it and go, "Oh, that's poisonous. That's a poisonous butterfly. I'll get sick if I eat that one." And then, of course, we've got butterflies like the viceroy who mimic the look of the monarch. They're not toxic because they don't eat the milkweed, but they look like the monarch, so they get left alone too. So evolution at its finest, folks. So, but yeah, through the World Wildlife Fund, they're raising money to try to stop a lot of the deforestation and try to help raise awareness and help people put together these monarch-friendly gardens, the butterfly habitats that are springing up all over the place. So yeah, it's been pretty good. And we're definitely looking forward to contributing again to the Monarch Fund. We did that last year. We submitted a donation in the name of the people who contributed to our broadcast, and we'll do that again this year. Um, so yeah, looking forward to that one. So I'm getting close to having a phone that might die because again I'm not anywhere um, near power right now where I'm sitting. And where I will have power, I'd be sitting on the floor in front of a bookcase. So I don't necessarily want to do that. But it's great to have everyone here. It's great to chat with people. Good to hear from you guys. Um, so we will be taking turns getting on air and doing chat broadcasts, walk broadcasts, some build broadcasts, some design broadcasts, stuff like that. And hope to see you guys all on there. I think Christina didn't get a chance to pop on. Um, I'm not sure if I can give her a few more minutes to see if she can do that or not. But I think because my battery is about to die, I should get going. Um, yeah, I'm looking at my battery level and it's pretty low. I'm gonna have to plug in. So it's been awesome talking to you guys tonight. Glad to see you all on board here. If anyone wants to join in on the Remember Me broadcast, like I said, we've got a musician that's going to be playing some great Spanish music. We'd love to see some artists on the broadcast. If you have anything like Monarch related or Day of the Dead related stuff that you'd like to do, come on and join us. We're like to fill this broadcast with as many artistic types and creative types as we can. So once again, folks, thanks for joining us. I am going to go and plug my phone in and then try and get a bit more work done for the rest of the evening. And as Christina says, respect yourself more than anyone else can, and all will be fine. And as I'm always being asked to say, bye, Martin. Take care, everyone. Hope to talk to you all again